welcome to the first episode of the Fertility Freak Podcast. I'm Michelle Tillman, your host and fertility expert, and I am so excited that you're here. Whether you're just starting your trying to conceive journey or you've been at it for a while, this podcast is designed to give you clarity, strategy, and the encouragement that you need to navigate your fertility with confidence. Today, we're diving in one of the biggest questions that I hear all the time. If I'm ovulating regularly, why am I not getting pregnant? And it's a great question because there are so many women who assume as long as I'm ovulating, pregnancy should happen easily. But the truth is there's a lot more that needs to go into it. So today we're going to break down the 4 key factors that could be affecting your ability to conceive even if you are ovulating. And we're going to get into what's happening inside of your body during this time and what could be throwing things off and what you can do to improve your chances. I'm so glad that you're here and I can't wait to get started. Let's dive in. Okay, here's number 1. Quality versus quantity of ovulation. And I'm talking about egg health. Quantity. There's one tool that we use as fertility experts to gauge your ovarian reserve, and that's the anti-Müllerian hormone or AMH test. AMH reflects the number of eggs that you have left, but it doesn't tell us about the quantity of those eggs, the quality of those eggs, okay? You could have a high AMH, and high is literally anything over 1.0, but you could still struggle with egg quality, especially as you get older. And this is why tracking ovulation alone doesn't give you the full picture, okay? Because just because you're releasing an egg each cycle, it doesn't mean that egg is of high quality. And when I say quality, egg quality refers to the genetic makeup of the egg and its ability to develop into a healthy embryo. Okay. And unlike men, they can go get their semen tested. They can find out about the quality and the quantity, morphology, motility. They can find out all these things about their semen, but there's not a test for quality for women. And it takes 90 days or more, really, to be consistent in making changes to improve your egg quality. So that's right. Whatever the egg quality you have right now, it's a reflection of whatever you've been doing for the last 3 months. So here's the thing. I know you can't test to find out your quality, but if you've been trying to get pregnant every single month, you're ovulating. Here's some things I want you to consider that you have got to address. Stress. I know you're thinking, well, I'm not stressed out or I'm used to it. It don't really bother me. But here's one of the things that I want you to consider. Just because you're used to a stressful situation and you kind of just doesn't faze you anymore, it doesn't mean that your body is still not feeling the effects of that stress that you have gotten used to. Let me give you an example. Like, if you have been working at your job for 5 years and they have been getting on your very last nerve for the last 4 years, every time you walk in, you walk past somebody's desk who you don't like, they don't like you, you don't like them, or they don't never do their work and you're trying to always do their work. And when you see them, you get annoyed by it. Just because you're so used to doing that every day and you kind of like, okay, that's just, kiki, I'm not worried about it. But that doesn't mean that your body is not still taking score. Your body still may have an internal stress response to something that your mind is not any longer identifying as stress. Okay, so you have to recognize the stresses in your life so that you can address them. The other thing I want you to consider is your micronutrient deficiencies. Your body needs so many nutrients to be able to carry you and your baby throughout a full-term pregnancy. So if you're lacking in micronutrients, and when I say micronutrients, I'm talking about the biggest ones are iron, vitamin D, B vitamins. When you are lacking in those type of micronutrients, Your body is literally trying to protect your future baby by not allowing you to get pregnant. Because your body is thinking, girl, you don't have enough nutrients for you. You definitely don't have enough for you and the baby. And so it's trying to protect your future baby by not allowing you to get pregnant. Okay. And the last thing I want you to consider for egg quality is get enough sleep. I'm telling you, y'all need to get in the bed. And I'm talking to myself too. We got to get in the bed, and we can't get in the bed and be on our phones scrolling, watching all the social media apps and videos and laughing at comedy videos. Yeah, it seems like, okay, I'm winding down, but really you are interrupting the quality sleep that you could be getting, or you're drinking a big glass of water at 9 o'clock. Now, you know you're about to be getting up through the night. So, how is that giving you quality sleep? So, when you're considering all the changes that need to be made over the next 90 days so you can see the improvement of your egg quality, don't forget getting that 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is going to make a huge difference in your egg quality. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Your ovulation window is shorter than you think. I know many women believe that they have all this time to get pregnant. And I really think that stems from how we were taught. Like when you were in middle school or you were in high school, or maybe some of you even elementary school, when you had your health education class, all they told you was do not have sex. Because if you do, you will get pregnant, and do not have a baby. Okay, that's all they told us. Don't have sex because you'll get pregnant and you'll have a baby. Nobody told us that the fertile window is actually only about 5 days every single month. And your ovulation itself, it only lasts 12 to 24 hours. So you only have a few days, and you could easily miss it if you're doing something like using a period app to tell you when to have sex, or you're using LH strips with an ovulation predictor kit. Listen, those kits, if you're only using an LH strip or you're using an ovulation kit, those tracking apps only help you predict your fertile window based on your previous cycles. This means if there's anything different that's happening in your life, it can cause it to shift. Okay. If you go out of town, go on vacation, sleep somewhere that's not your normal environment, you're not at your house, you go visit your in laws, it's the holidays, you feel a little sick. There's a lot of different things that can make your ovulation shift outside of what's normal. Small changes in your environment, okay? So you have got to start looking at things outside of using your ovulation kit and your period app, which is literally just guessing when you ovulate based on a 28-day cycle, and that based on people ovulate on day 14, which is such a huge myth. That is not true for everyone. So here's some of the things I need you to start paying attention to so that you can know, okay, wait a minute, I know what my app says, but I think I'm about to ovulate. One of the things that you can look at is charting your cervical position, because there's changes in your cervix when you're getting ready to ovulate. Your cervix becomes higher, softer, and more open during your ovulation. So you can understand these really subtle signs, and that can help you to feel more confident in pinpointing your fertile window. I'm gonna need you to Google it and look it up. So you're gonna have to use your fingers, and you're gonna have to be able to feel the difference in your cervical position. Okay. Here's some other signs that I want you to look out for. Cervical mucus. I know we hear mucus and we're like, ooh. But listen, cervical mucus is literally when you wake up in the morning and that first wipe when you go to the bathroom and it feels a little slippery down there. That is your cervical mucus. When it becomes clear and stretchy and like an egg white, consistency, that's a good sign that you're in your fertile window. Okay. So you're looking for that slippery, a little bit more fluid, if you will, when you're wiping, then you know, hey, I'm possibly going to be ovulating soon. Another thing you can look at is increase libido. And your libido is another word for your sex drive. So listen, this is how the people who quote unquote get pregnant on accident, this is how they get pregnant on accident, because your body was created by God to feel a little bit more interested in romantic relations during that time of the month. So when that libido goes up, listen, he gonna start looking real good and you're like, ooh, what's up? And that is a sign that, hey, I'm feeling a little bit more frisky. I'm ready to get it popping. My libido is going up. Listen, I must be getting ready to ovulate. Okay. And the last thing I want you to look out for. Now, this is not going to happen before, but it's going to happen during ovulation pain. Some people feel this and some people don't. So don't feel bad if you're like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I have never felt that a day in my life. I'm one of the people who just happen to feel it. But you might feel like a mild ache or pain on one side when you ovulate. Okay. And so when you feel that pain, that might be like, okay, I know for sure I ovulated now. Me, I'm one of those people, again, I feel it because I'm like very intuitive and know my body, and every little something, 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 I feel it and I notice it and I track it. So remember, you need to be looking at all of these things because your period app is literally guessing. So do not rely on that. Okay. And then here's another way that you can confirm that you did ovulate using your basal body temperature. Your basal body temperature is the temperature that your body is at complete rest. Like you've been in the bed at least like 4 hours or so at minimum, and you wake up. The temperature you have when you first wake up, that's your basal body temperature. And when you have a rise in temperature after ovulation, that's what indicates that ovulation has occurred. Now, for example, when you see a rise of 0.30 or more, followed by 6 other high temperatures, that's how you know, okay, I absolutely did ovulate. So, for example, if you wake up in the morning and your temperature is 97.0, and you're like, whew, I'm feeling frisky. I'm slippery when I'm white. My cervix is super high. And then the next morning you wake up and your temperature is 97.30. Oh my goodness, it went up 0.30. I ovulated yesterday. So it goes up the day after ovulation. So that's how you confirm, okay, I ovulated. All right. And this is because progesterone in your body, it increases your temperature. Progesterone is a heat-inducing hormone, okay? So if you are not timing intercourse during this narrow 5 days a month that you have to get pregnant, then conception is going to be much more difficult. Okay, number 3. Now we want to break down the 2 phases of your cycle, the follicular and the luteal phases. So the follicular phase runs from the start of your period to ovulation. And the luteal phase is the time between ovulation and your next period. You want to look for a luteal phase that lasts around 12 to 14 days. And if it is too short, just like Ashton had my client, it's known as a luteal phase defect. And this is what can prevent proper implantation. Low progesterone is often the culprit here. So if your body is not producing enough progesterone, your uterine lining, it might not be thick enough to support a fertilized egg. Okay, so how do I know? Michelle, how do I know if my luteal phase is long enough? Again, we're going to go back to your basal body temperature. Using that will help you to measure the length of each phase of your cycle, and you want to measure that for a few cycles. So again, take your temperature. You'll know when you ovulate. That first half, that's your follicular phase. And then from your ovulation, the day after your ovulation to the day your next period comes, that's your luteal phase. You want it to be at least 12 days. 14 is even better. But if your luteal phase happens to come back and it's less than 12 days, now I need you to test for your progesterone levels. Testing for your progesterone levels in the second half of your cycle will let you know if you need to supplement with progesterone or if you need to make some dietary changes that can help support a longer luteal phase. All right. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more. Okay. And here's the last thing that I want to leave you with. Let's talk about inflammation and hormone balance. Chronic inflammation, it can interfere with implantation. So even if ovulation and fertilization has occurred, if you have a condition like endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, all of these conditions can create a super inflammatory environment, and that is not ideal for conception. So when I walk my clients through the 4S formula, we take a holistic view of your fertility because there are so many things that affect your ability to get pregnant outside of your reproductive organs. Okay, balancing your hormones and reducing inflammation can make a big difference in you being able to get pregnant faster. So, for example, here's some of the things you can do if you know you have an inflammation issue. You need to eat an anti-inflammatory diet that's rich in stuff like omega-3s and antioxidants. This is going to help improve your implantation rates. And I have had clients who have saw a significant improvement in their fertility just by making simple dietary changes. And if you're one of the people who say, Michelle, I don't have the fibroids, I don't have endometriosis, I don't have PCOS, I'm still not pregnant, girl. Do I have inflammation? No, let me help you out. You can go to a laboratory, like a private laboratory that you don't have to be referred to as a doctor, and you can get from a doctor. You don't have to be referred to these laboratories from a doctor. Look at the ones in your area, and you can just ask them for a CRP test. So when you take the CRP test, based on your results, it's going to identify if the conclusion is that you are dealing with some type of inflammation or not. So if you went through all these steps and everything that I've said, but you don't know if you have inflammation, get that test done so that you can know for sure, and then you can address it if that is an issue that you're dealing with. I know that this can feel like a whole lot to manage on your own. So if you're not sure where to start, or you want to make sure that you are doing everything possible to support yourself getting pregnant, I want to invite you to join the complimentary God, Where is My Baby Masterclass? God, Where is My Baby Masterclass? In this session, I'm going to break down the key factors that most women are overlooking, but when addressed using our proven formula, it can lead to you getting pregnant faster. Our framework has helped over a dozen women get pregnant in the last year by quickly identifying and resolving all the subtle issues that impact their fertility. So, if you're ready for clarity and direction, make sure you register today. There should be a link right here in the show notes, or you can register at fertilityfreak.com. And when you register, I have a bonus download for you. You're going to get the top 27 things you need to be considering if you're not pregnant yet. Yes, 27 things. I know people are thinking, what, girl, what? You just told me 4. And I'm like, what in the world? There's 20, 24 more, 23 more. Yes, there's a lot of things that you need to consider. And so when you register for the God, Where is My Baby Masterclass, you're going to get that download that has everything you need to be looking at. I am so excited to see you there. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to dive deeper with you on the next time of the Fertility Freak Podcast. See you later.